the gigantic opening Monday night game between the Jets and the Niners literally may end up being one of the biggest, most meaningful games of the year. Jets get a clean slate with Aaron Rodgers back at the helm. And the Niners, well, y'all know what type of time it is for them. They are trying to make their way back to the Super Bowl and get Shanahan his first Super Bowl win. James Jones, you were the teammate with Aaron Rodgers. You won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, so you know what it feels like going into a season with Super Bowl expectations with Rodgers. Who has more pressure this season? Obviously 2 months away from the game. Is it the Jets with Rodgers or Kyle Shanahan, who's never got himself one? More pressure.
This ain't even close, man. It's Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. They don't get it done this year, and I said Super Bowl because I believe that they have that type roster. I think if it's not AFC Championship or Super Bowl, everybody gone. Everybody fired. I think it's that type pressure over there in New York.
Who's everybody?
Robert Saleh. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I think it's going to be a lot of changes over there. The GM, it's going to be a lot of changes over there in that building if they do not accomplish what they are trying to accomplish. They have to have a really good football season over there. So it's all the pressure on Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh and the New York Jets. You're talking about 2010, they have not been to the playoffs. And I know Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers ain't been there that long, but the Niners just came off the Super Bowl last year and been a really good football team for the last 5 years. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Football Jets have all the pressure on them this year coming into this season, or it's going to be some changes. It is now. This should have been the first. What was it? Make or break for the New York Jets.
Joy, more pressure, Jets, Niners.
It's Jets. It's not close. I don't even think there's pressure on the Niners. The Niners have been good year in, year out. They're in the NFC Championship game. They're in the Super Bowl. They're competitive. They're great during the regular season. Since the turn of the century, 23 previous Super Bowl losers, only 3 of them, 3 of the 23, have even improved their record. That's why we call it a Super Bowl hangover. It's really hard to get to the Super Bowl. You lose pieces. People get hired for different coaching jobs. You have injuries from having played longer. Like those things happen. So if the Niners didn't get back to the Super Bowl, nobody's tripping. They do well in the postseason, make the postseason, whatever. They're always a consistent team. They have the track record and the equity to not get back to the Super Bowl, and it's okay. The Jets, we've been talking about this team for 2 years. Why? Yeah. Why we keep talking about this team?
They are.
Why? Why I got to talk about this team? Every week I got to talk about these Jets. Every week. I come to work, I just want to have a nice day, and I got to talk about the Jets. Jets haven't been to the playoffs. Forget like losing in the playoffs. Forget losing in the NFC Championship game. Forget getting to the Super Bowl. Forget losing all your quarterbacks in the postseason. None of this. They don't have an opportunity to do none of these things. They are not invited. They are not at the Invitational every single year. We did this whole offseason last year. Jets, the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game. I don't know what the Jets are, and I still don't. I will be running, chasing the train out of the station to jump on the bandwagon for the Jets. I'll see it when I believe it. The Jets have all the pressure. I really think they might have the most pressure based off of the expectations, the worst Super Bowls getting thrown out there, AFC Championship games getting thrown out there. Again, it would be a wild success if they made the playoffs. It would be a success for the Jets if they made the playoffs.
Looking at you some type of way, Joy Taylor. You got to stare to your left.
I mean, I'm saying not based off of everyone else's expectations. But again, I can't stress enough. They don't make it to the playoffs. They don't go to the playoffs. It's not that they're disappointing in the playoffs. They don't go to the playoffs. We've been talking about this team forever. They have all the things to prove.
Strong. Yeah, I agree with Joy. Oof, that was tough. I mean, it's got to be the Jets. They go out there, they get Aaron Rodgers, right? They make it a whole big deal. Now, already it's New York, so they got a ton of media, a ton of pressure on that. Then you have a solid defense, right? And then you go out there to get Aaron Rodgers. So it made even everything bigger and bigger and bigger. But you look at it, this is the first time in years where I would say the Jets can win the AFC East,
yeah.
Right? Have a shot. So when you think about this, the pressure part, yeah, we talk about Super Bowls and all that in playoffs, but the first thing is, the first goal is always win your division. And in a long time, we would never say the Jets can win a division. They can actually win it this year, depending on what happens, but I think they got a shot. Okay, that's one part. Second part is the Niners. Like, they're in 2 different ball games, right? I look at the Niners like I look at the Chiefs, as in on that side.
Yeah, on the NFC side.
Yeah. If I had to pick teams who's going to go, right, it's probably going to be my Eagles. It's going to be the Niners. The Jets, we never saying that ever, though.
Yeah.
Right? So
true.
All the pressure has got to be on the Jets.
James, you think the Jets are under the most pressure as far as any NFL team expectations this year?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. The additions you made on this football team, you have a top 5 defense. You have a defensive-minded coach, and you ain't won nothing. I'm telling you, if they, like Joy said, they ain't even been to the playoffs. Let's just say they don't go to the playoffs again. It's a wrap for everybody.
And the investment part. Like, always talk about investments with different players. That's why I be hating when some quarterbacks get paid. Like, why are you investing your money in this guy? Anyway, Aaron Rodgers, they gave him a lot of money for nothing so far. What they got out of Aaron Rodgers?
4 plays.
Some great interviews, right? We give us some to talk about on TV, and that's it.
Yeah,
and 4 plays.
You know.
Yeah,
we got some material.
Over treats.
We got some content.
Question for y'all. James, I'll
$50.
start with you. Saleh or Sirianni? Who's under more pressure?
Saleh.
Saleh? Say if the Jets win 9 and the Eagles win 9, though. I would say vastly different
They both go.
Say they both. Oh,
No. What?
9 games and not make the
they
playoffs.
both win
I
9.
think Nick's gone.
You think Sirianni's still there with the 9-1 season?
I mean, we were talking about Sirianni after last year, but they're just two different organizations. I mean, the Eagles are concerned about winning championships. The Jets are happy to make the playoffs, so they're not in the same ballpark.
So don't you think less pressure, right?
No. Again, Saleh has been there and done nothing. Okay, now it's not all his fault. Not all his fault, but he has been there and they've accomplished absolutely nothing during his time there. Yes, the defensive side of the ball is good, and he's a defensive coach, but he is the head coach, not the defensive coordinator of the Jets. And not even just they're bad, because I hate to bring up old stuff like last year, like teams have talented teams and still manage to make the playoffs. They still manage to have winning seasons. They still manage to be functional. Not the Jets, though. Not the Jets. You can peel and Joe Flacco off the couch and still winning games and get into the playoffs in a much harder division. So I like everybody got like all these excuses and stuff. I think it's great. Cool. But they have to win this year. They have to. Not just because I'm tired of talking about it, but because there are literally times like Aaron might retire. Yeah. Saleh's been there for years. The expectations are way too high, and they should be.
Yeah.
This is a good team.
No, I was saying, like, if the Eagles are 9, if they only win 9 games, it's because Jalen Hurts. I don't think it's because of Nick Sirianni, right? I think we'll be more pressure on, what's going on with the quarterback, et cetera, than Nick Sirianni. We got to get him out of here. What do you think?
I would say Sirianni, only because of how Sirianni fumbled the bag last year. Sirianni, when he lost his coaches, when he lost his OC and his DC, he lost his mind. When a guy like Kyle Shanahan loses his OC and his DC Robert Saleh goes, DeMeco Ryans goes, Steve Wilks. Still went to Super Bowl with Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks gone, ain't nobody tripping. But Sirianni lost his DC. Sirianni's on 3 DCs in 2 years. He's on 3 OCs in 2 years. So that's why, like, if the Eagles win 9.
I'm not even going to, like, I think Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, is the top 5 coach right now. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
Today. So I'm not going to use him. But I just think that, like, if you just look at the Eagles in general, like, do you blame last year's bad year more on Nick Sirianni or more on Jalen Hurts?
I different than you. I would go Sirianni because of how bad the defense was, too. They were both bad. And I'm like, if you're the head man, you got to put people in positions to succeed.
Well, he did originally hire great people. Generally, your best pick is your original hire. I mean, sometimes you got to replace people, and it's hard to do. And again, coming off of a Super Bowl, most teams have a Super Bowl hangover. Yeah. That's why also with the Eagles last year, like, we're all panicking and they like all the expectations and stuff, but most teams have a Super Bowl hangover. I've got the evidence right in front of me. Only one team has ever come back to even win the Super Bowl, and that was the Patriots, and we know why. Yeah. So it's very hard to go from getting to a Super Bowl or winning to a Super Bowl to getting back. That's extremely difficult to do. Robert Saleh has 3 double-digit loss seasons.
But if they win 9, I think they'll be content.
And not only that,
how low the bar is.
But not only that, I think it's how it looks.
Yes,
if it looks like it looked last year, I think Sirianni's out of there because we got you Saquon Barkley, we signed you. We made sure we kept both your big-time receivers under contract. You got Dallas Goedert, and you got your offensive coordinator that you wanted. And Jalen Hurts, we don't see no growth in, and this offense look the way it looks. Yeah. I think Sirianni will be gone.
Well, speaking of coaches that might potentially be gone to a coach who's supposed to win Coach of the Year, Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick, superstar generational talent Caleb Williams. And now people are saying Matt Eberflus